Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Our focus today is on the scams and scammers who want to take your money. We're going to learn about the more than 5,000 reports of scams that were made to the Vermont Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program in 2021. Of course, the best way to avoid getting ripped off is to be aware of the various scams. And if you're concerned you've been scammed, you can contact the Vermont Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program. So we're going straight to the source. Our guest is Lisa Jensen. Lisa is the Assistant Director of the Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program at the University of Vermont. Good afternoon, Lisa, and thanks for being with us.
Good afternoon, Fran. Thanks for having me back.
So what are the most common scams that are reported to the Consumer Assistance Program in the past year?
So in the past year, we do have our top 10 list. Number one, not surprisingly, is the computer tech scam or support scam. Number two is that Social Security phishing scam. 3 is a variation of the computer tech support scam. 4, legal authority imposter. 5, sweepstakes and lotteries, so that's still there 40 years later. Identity theft and online listings.
Okay, yeah, it's amazing some that just keep being there, the lottery and the Publishers Clearinghouse, and oh my goodness. So let's go back to the top scam of last year. Tell us about the computer tech support scam and how that works.
Yes, so the computer tech scam is when some of us will get an email. We call it a phishing email. And supposedly it's from a business like Amazon, and it states that you have placed an order and you are owed $399 for this order. And you're directed to a phone number, which is not the real entity, it's the scammer. And that's when the scam begins.
Well, so, you know, you have the number 3 scam on the list is also centered around computer tech support. So how is that different from that first one you described?
Right, and we're not surprised that computer tech scams, both variations, are in our top 3, considering the pandemic, and so many of us are working remotely and on our computers a lot. Sure. So the variation is that the computer tech scam that is different than sort of the phishing, you place an order, you owe money, is when something pops up on your computer and it says that there's, a virus has been detected and we can help you sort this out. You need virus protection. And again, it's not illegitimate. It's not Norton. It's not a legitimate entity. It's a scammer that wants you to react quickly and connect with them. And these are really difficult because the scammer can remote into someone's computer if they allow, and then they have access to all their information.
Sure, and these are things that pop up on your computer. Wow. So altogether, there are more than 1,700 reports that have come in calendar year 2021. Of Vermont consumers being defrauded by these computer tech support scams alone. Tell us what we can do.
Yes, I really recommend to all Vermonters to question every single phone call, text, and email that you receive. Look really closely at, especially with emails, what the return or what the sender's email address is. Because if you look really closely, and you won't see that it's from Amazon.com, it'll be a little variation. So verify, question, call the Consumer Assistance Program. If you're not sure, we're happy to hear about it and advise how to prevent being a victim of the scam and actually losing money.
Right. So yeah, looking at that email, some of these things do bear repeating, really checking and seeing if it looks legitimate, maybe checking in, and if it's a call, hang up. Don't click on those links when you don't know who that person is, and never let anyone remote into your computer.
Right.
So let's go back to the pie chart of the top 10 scams in Vermont from last year. And I see that the Social Security number phishing scam remains one of the top 3 scams. And it's also clear that internet-based scams are increasing.
Yes. The Social Security phishing scam has been a pretty consistent one that's been in our top top 10 list for years. And that's when a person, it's typically a phone call, and the scammer, the criminal, is reporting that somebody's used your social security number. Perhaps there's, there was some criminal activity that is connected to your social security number. And again, these criminals, they want to raise fear in us. They want this emotional brain to start kicking in so they can lure somebody into believing them. And as I said before too, with these online scams, given the pandemic, we spend so much time on our computers, both at home and at work, and criminals are preying on that.
Right. So never give your Social Security number away unless you've called somebody and you know who you're calling, or whatever. And still, so are certain people targeted for scams more than others?
So not overall, no. Our office hears from Vermonters from every part of the state, every age. We don't take demographics in terms of income or educational level, but it's across the board. There are some particular scams that do target a specific population. So the Social Security, Medicare scams reach mostly older people. The grandparent imposter scam as well. Again, that targets older people. But in general, it's really across the board.
Yeah. So the federal government, when we talked last year, I think the federal government was working on dealing with fraudulent calls and computer-based scams. Has that gotten anywhere? Or is that even helpful? Can they do anything?
So yes, there is the Traced Act, TRACED, the Traced Act, and that is regulated by the FCC, directed towards phone companies. So we're just talking about phone companies now, not the internet-based. And it's directing phone companies to put blocking mechanisms in place and options for their customers to reduce the number of these scam robocalls. There is also a Traceback initiative that is currently underway with some attorney generals as well to try to figure out how to stop the calls from getting into, because a lot of these calls come in from overseas, and so there's this intermediary. So trying to figure out, how do we trace these calls? How are they getting in? What can we do? It's very complicated, unfortunately.
So still working on it. Sounds
still
like.
working on it. Yes.
Okay.
There is progress, and I always encourage Vermonters to contact their phone companies to see what they can offer them to block some of these scam robocalls.
Right, and or get in touch with your office. So you're an educator. You educate consumers as you're doing now, and you also educate UVM students in the Consumer Assistance Program. What are students learning?
Yes, so we have students that enroll in a service learning class, and they are here in the office with us talking to Vermonters every day and mediating complaints that come in as well. So they are learning, they're developing their professional skills, they're learning about the wide variety of consumer concerns and consumer regulations that we all have, really diving into some complaint mediation. And of course, they are very well versed in scams and how to prevent scams.
So what is there, as they talk to people, and your best advice to avoid being scammed?
Slow down. As I said earlier, the scammers want us to act immediately. They really want that emotional brain to kick in. So we really want consumers to slow down. Don't act urgently. They want you to. Second thing to do is log the contact. So get that phone number. Don't try to engage or with them. Just write down that phone number and disengage. Make one call to a trusted person, to our office, the Consumer Assistance Program, and verify, discuss what happened. Because we care at CAP. We want Vermonters to be safe. We want their identity protected. We do not want them to lose money. So please report scams to our office at 1-800-649-2424. 24. We also have an online scam reporting form, very easy to use. You can use that as well if you go to our website at ago.vermont.gov.
Terrific. And this is really important for people like that grandparent scam. Like, ask for it. Give me your phone number. I'll call you back. And then you call somebody and go, is Joey really in trouble? And, and mom might say, absolutely not. So these are really helpful. Just slow down, figure it out before you act. And if somebody is a victim of a scam, what can they do?
We really want them to call our office. It happens, as I said, across the board in Vermont, people losing money or having their identity stolen. We will walk you through the steps to recover from that. We have resources, we have support, and we really, really want to assist Vermonters. Sometimes I know we hear I'm embarrassed, or I can't believe this happened to me. We get it. It happens to people across the board, and we're here to help.
Right. So don't be embarrassed by this. It happens to all of us. And it's really important for these numbers that you're letting us know to know what's going on. And I'm sure that these numbers only are the tip of the iceberg. Yes.
Yes. And I would love to come back next year and have the top 10 and say that instead of 5,000 scam reports, we only got 3,000 because the number of scams have decreased in Vermont. That's my goal for next year.
Okay, terrific. Let's put that number up one more time that people can call your office, that 800 number.
Yes, so please call our office again to verify. Slow down, call 1-800-649-2424. We're here to help, to answer questions, and to verify.
Okay, Lisa Jensen, the Assistant Director of the Attorney General's Consumer Assistance Program at the University of Vermont. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us avoid those scams.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.